to Catch You Outdoors. I'm your host, Captain Rob Modes. This podcast is about living and playing in the great outdoors, especially down this way in the most southern region of the continental U.S., the Florida Keys. Catch You Outdoors is hosted by Spotify, also brought to you by your favorite podcast network. So kick back and get a taste of my Florida. This week's episode of Catch You Outdoors is number 115, titled Life's Been Good. It has. Life's been good. I'll explain the title after the usual notes about what's happening in my crazy life. So hang in there and I'll fill you in on what this week's subject is actually all about. It's not complicated and it's short, but you know. Welcome everyone. The current temperature in Key Largo is 81 degrees. This is Monday. I decided to delay this because I wanted to go fishing this morning and hopefully get a fishing report because Sunday was out of the question. I did. I went fishing, so we'll get to that too. We got another cool front on the way tomorrow, which will bring the high down to 80. Yeah, I know. It went up to like 84, 85 today. So I'm giving you the current at 81. This is in the evening. I'm recording this on Monday at around 5 in the evening. So it is coming down. But anyway, Tuesday, tomorrow will be cooler with a high of 80. Wednesday, there's a cold front part 2 coming through. No, this is actually a cold front tomorrow, believe it or not. And that's where the 80's coming from. I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just telling you like it is, really and truly. It amazes even me. But anyway, cold front part 2 is pretty serious, and that one is supposed to get here Wednesday into Wednesday evening, and it's going to blow, and it's going to get cold, and cold by our standards, and a low on Thursday morning, I think, of 59. That's, I had better start hunting for my socks. That's pretty much what that's all about. Not a lot of rain in this, just a bunch of wind. There's a cold front on Tuesday and a huge reinforcer on Wednesday coming down from Canada. So thank you, Canadians, and all my Canadian friends. I really appreciate it. I wish you'd keep it up there, but anyway, it's that time of year. I've often said that I think the coldest time to be in Florida is actually in December. I know January and February are very cold months up north, but for us, it's more about daylight and sunlight. And the shortest day of the year is at the end of December 2021. The winter solstice, and that is, less sunlight. So even if we have the perfect day and we get a breeze and a cold front, we don't get as much light to warm things up. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. But my log books from way back when I was fishing show December was not always that great. Right at the end of December and early January. So 59, I saw that and I went, oh no, please. The weather report also said that the temperatures in our area should get back to normal by Saturday and Sunday at the end of the week. What's normal down here, you ask? I'll tell you. Lows in the mid-60s and highs in the upper 70s. That's our average temperature range down here during the wintertime. My new song is now available on just about every music download and listening service that you might want to peruse. Very, very cool. I'm an iTunes Apple person. I also do Spotify and a few others. It doesn't matter. Like if you have joined a music service where you pay yearly or you pay a little monthly fee, it's probably there. And if you want to pay for the music, just download it. You can go to iTunes and just download it. I think it's a whopping 99 cents. And I would deeply be appreciative if you did so. And thanks to those that have. I can now actually say I'm a singer-songwriter, which I find hilarious. I don't know why. It's just another thing. That's all. When you're searching for the song, use the title Key West Town. You can do that along with my name, Rob Modes, Modys. Do it that way, and that's easier to get to. There's a lot of Key West stuff, so if you click on that, you may go through a whole bunch of stuff before you find little old me. So, but Key West Town should take you right to it. As a matter of fact, last time I looked it up, it was next to Jimmy Buffett. Ooh, how thrilling! And so now the songwriting bug has firmly bitten me once again, I should say. Key West Town's actually from the 90s. I wrote it many, many years ago. And I pulled some other likely titles out recently to perhaps update them along with writing some additional new ones and new verses and things like that. So, yeah, I'm kind of into this. But thanks in advance for all the downloads of my song over the past week. It's greatly appreciated. And also thank you so much for the feedback. I like that too. I'm glad that you all are really enjoying it out there. I'm hearing lots of very positive things, which makes me happy. Holy cow, I put this at the top of my page on these other notes. I said, holy cow, I can't believe it's December. And not only is it December, we're solidly into the first week. I am recording this on the 4th. You'll hear it on the 5th. So it's like, hey, it's insane how fast all this is. Like, Christmas is screaming up. I'm going to I got to do a decorations run tomorrow. I got to get them up. I don't have any blow up characters from Home Depot. I do like string lights outside though. I was raised by mom and dad who did the all white light thing instead of colorful, traditional. My mother grew up in Williamsburg, Virginia. That should explain it. If you've been to any colonial town in the South, from Georgia up, you'll find that they almost always use white lights, whether it's in trees, outside, windows, houses, trim, whatever. White lights is very, very traditional. And so I still do that. There's plenty of color in this neighborhood. Plenty. It's everywhere already. That's why I'm panicking. I got to go get my stuff and get this done. It's nuts. There's all kinds of pop-up Santas on roofs here. There's giant skeletons that are decorated like Santa Claus. I guess you guys have seen those. I think those came from Costco. They had them obviously all up for Halloween, so they just left them up and made them Santa Clauses now. I just do lots of white lights and candles in the windows to off things a little bit, and I hang the white icicles, and I don't make anything glittery or flashy. It's just solid. Okay, so boring. No, not really. I may add lights this year. It's almost like a competition on this street. I gotta get into this, We have wonderful neighbors. I do want to say nice things about our neighbors. We have great neighbors. What's next on the list? Oh, the dryer broke. Oh my God. It went down a few days ago. And of course I had a load in the dryer and a load in the washer and no heat out of the dryer. So I called the landlord. He was very helpful. He's like, no problem. I'll come by, take a quick look. And he said, no, it's broken. I said, yeah, I know. And so he called his man. This was on Saturday, I guess it was. Yeah. So he called his man in. The dude came and looked at it today and said, yep, the burner, the heat element is out. And that's about 3 days out. The good news is all the laundry was done. I packed it all up in the Jeep and I took it down to the local Coin Laundry. Yes, haven't done that in a long, long time. I think the last time was in Fort Myers when our washer went down and we couldn't get one for 5, 6, 7 days. No, it was 2 weeks, I think. It was bad. And then I went to the laundry to do laundry then. But anyway, so it was a decent place. The one here at the Coin Laundry in Fort Lauderdale, in Key Largo, flashback. It's not too far down the road, a few miles down the road. It's clean. Most of the dryers and wash machines work. All I needed was the dryer. I took it in. A lot of places won't let you do that. They like you to wash your clothes there and dry. They're not real wild about you coming in with just stuff to dry. I told him my sob story, and he's like, okay, just go put it in one of those super dryers over there and have at it. So I did. So, it was a pain when I think I did Coin Laundry for a long time. I know in the Coast Guard we did. We didn't have facilities. We had to go to laundromats. But as time went by, I realized that going to the Coin Laundry every week was about the same as owning a washer dryer on payments. Just go get a washer and dryer, discount washer and dryer and make payments on it every month. That's roughly probably less than what you would spend in quarters at the laundromat in a month. So just do the math. Key Largo is cool, though. I saw some young folks, old folks, liveaboards. That was a big one. If you don't know what that is, liveaboards are people that live on board boats full time. They hardly have the room for a washer dryer on most boats, unless it's very large or big boat, big boat. And there were a lot of those in there. And I think the funniest thing was laundromats lead to strange and wonderful moments, and I had a strange one while I was in there. This guy came in. He had on layers of clothing. I'm guessing 2 or 3 pairs of pants, 2 or 3 shirts, a toboggan. He didn't look bad. I don't want to put it that way. I think he lived on a boat. I really do. He shed off all of his clothes except for the last layer of skivvies. Put them all in the washer and washed them. And I left before I got to see him pull them out, dry them, and pull it all back on. But there you go. Welcome to the Going Laundry. I just thought that was pretty wild. Let's see. What's next on fishing? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I made it out again today, this morning. The windy weather is still happening, but it was giving us a break. Every now and then it's like, okay, here, we'll relent. And today was dead calm. I mean, calm. So I figured I better go. So I waited I didn't do the podcast on Sunday. I did it today on Monday so I could at least include a fishing report. Because that was really the only option for the rest of the week, too. Monday, today was the day. The rest of this week's going to be a mess. And we might get on the water Saturday or Sunday. I'm not real sure about that. And I think I'm going to start recording the podcast on Monday evening anyway. The work on the house next door, they're building a home right next door to me. And it's unbelievably noisy, sawing and banging and hammers. And you kind of get used to it, but it's not something I can record over. So, Monday they leave at 4:30. They're done, man. They wrap it up. They're in their cars. They're gone. And so I might just start doing this. At least you'll get some really, really up-to-date news that way. I might start doing it this way. Make my Sundays mine. And that also gives me a chance to go fishing on a Monday morning if Saturday and Sunday don't pan out. Sunday got nixed too. We couldn't do Sunday. Sunday wasn't a bad day. Sunday we had a light breeze. It wasn't ridiculous. In the backcountry would have been good. Couldn't go out front. Jonelle volunteered us to take photos of her cousin, the couple and their dog. They wanted to do Christmas cards. And I said, yeah, sure. Let's go do that. So we went out early in the morning, they just live up the road from us here in Key Largo. Went up there and, went down by the water and did the usual thing so they could have a nice looking Christmas card holding onto their pooch. And, after that, we went to breakfast at Doc's Diner in Key Largo. And it was our first trip, Jonelle's and mine first trip, and it will not be the last. One of our longtime favorite restaurants, the Lorelei down in Islamorada, had a fabulous fisherman's breakfast of fresh mahi, eggs, hash browns, and toast. And, we go there and get a glass of juice and sit down and have a really nice breakfast in the morning before we went fishing or before we were headed home. A lot of times that was the Sunday routine. We fish all day Saturday, Sunday have breakfast, and then head back up to Fort Lauderdale. I'm serious, just about every morning. That every time we were down, we did that. That was way years ago. But then for some reason, they stopped doing that. We were in there not long ago, and I asked them about the breakfast, and they said, no, we don't do that. I was like, what? How could you not do fish? You just do bacon and sausage? No. What's wrong with you people? It's the Keys. Sorry, Lorelei, I won't pick on you. You're still one of my favorite places to hang out. But seriously, it also probably led me to my early morning drinking problem with Bloody Marys. So there is some, that's a bright side that, I no longer went there to eat breakfast or drink Bloody Mary. So I'm just kidding. But we really missed that particular breakfast. Well, guess what? Doc's had a breakfast special. By the way, it's number 4 on the menu. Breakfast special number 4. Well, guess what? It was delicious. Mahi fried, grilled, or broiled, hash browns or grits, 2 eggs any style, and toast or a biscuit. And it came with delicious. Their homemade tartar sauce was really good. So there you go. You can go have a fisherman special at Doc's. And I'll be honest with you, we might, I might go back next week. Heck, Sunday's not that far off now. We both ordered it fried. Janelle says she's probably going to slide away from fried and go back to grilled. But I'll be honest with you, their fried was perfect. It really was. It was very well done. I think it had panko. I think it was panko encrusted. I think that's what made it so good. For your information, Doc's Diner is at mile marker 99 on the Bayside. So give it a try for breakfast or lunch. They don't do dinner. I now highly recommend it. So there you go. Back to fishing. So how I get easily sidetracked, you notice. So Monday morning, bright and early today, I headed back to the area I talked about last week. I really wanted to hit the same place because last week was totally different than this week on the water as far as weather. Or everything was different. Everything was different. Today, okay, so last week I had a pretty stiff breeze out of the south. That's why I went in there, because it was totally protected. So I went in there. It was good. It was really good for protection-wise. Lots of water, full moon, had a real high tide. Water was well up in the mangroves. Water temperature was 76, if I remember right, 75 or 76. And I caught a lot of fish, and there was tons of bait. This time, the differences were no wind at all, zero. It was a mill pond out there, just slick, calm. We actually had fog north of us. We had fog on the mainland north of us, which did not get down to us, but I could see it. So I didn't have to worry about the fog part, but that's how still it was. It was really something. Low tide, right at low, so completely opposite of what I had before, without the wind. And water temperature at 78.9 degrees, so almost 79 degrees. It's been rather warm here the past 5 or 6 days. We have not had any cold nighttime air. So let's see what else. Yeah, so lack of tide. Oh, no movement in the tide either. Oh, half moon. It was half moon. That last time was almost full, just coming off full. So I had everything going against me, but that's why I wanted to go. I really wanted to go get a look and see what's going on. Well, the good news is fish were still there. They just moved. Last week, everything was up against the mangroves. There was just all kinds of activity because the bait had decided that was the place to be. Mainly, I would imagine, because of high water and the wind direction. Without the wind, they were in the middle of the bay. They didn't bother going over to the mangroves. They just basically, and there were schools and schools of whitebait out there, acres of them. The fish were widely spread. So I had to change my tactics entirely. For the longest time, you all know I've been using the little gulp mullets, the swimming mullet, the little soft plastic whitebait, which works okay. I mean, I did get one jack close to the bushes this morning, but it just, you could tell it wasn't doing its thing. But as soon as I moved away, it didn't work at all. Once I got away from the bushes and got out on the flats where all the bait was, it was almost like there was too much bait. So I made a command decision. I got out the tackle bag and I went searching around in there, and I found something I fished with a while ago. I did this actually last summer. I fished with Rapala's X-Rap twitching mullet, they call it. I believe that's right. Let me look at my notes here, make sure I said that right. I think that's right. Yep, that's what it was. Rapala's X-Rap twitching mullet. And that's a pretty cool little bait. It looks exactly like a filter. Yeah, see where I'm going with this? I mean, I'm surrounded by them. And single hook on the front and single hook on the back. No troubles. And very castable. And swims like a real fish. I mean, it wiggles like a real fish. They're amazing. They kind of wobble is what they do. And so I was making a nice long cast into the bait and working it. And I got a couple of decent jacks and ladyfish. I did not get ladyfish last week, so I was kind of surprised to see ladyfish in the mix. That encouraged me to think that perhaps sea trout could be in the same area. They weren't, not this time. But a lot of times when you see ladyfish, you also have a good chance of there being sea trout nearby. No reds today and no snook today. But that's normally a bush thing. I did not expect to catch either one of those out on the open flats in the middle of bait. I didn't. So, that's just the way it is. I ran into a little problem with the twitching mullet, and I'm going to put a picture up on the web so you guys can go to Catch Outdoors on Facebook. It's Catch Outdoors on the Facebook site. And I'm going to throw a picture up there of the twitching mullet that I was using. The front hook kept getting caught in the split ring at the very front of the bait. It was really weird. It happened a lot. And I missed several fish. And when I missed them, it would come in, and the single hook on the back was doing what it's supposed to do. But the hook in the front was turned upward and caught in the ring. So I got out my split ring pliers and I fixed that little problem. Basically, I removed it. I took that hook off the front, And then I took the split ring off the front. So in other words, the front was just straight up, fishing. And then the single hook on the back, the trailer hook. And that worked great. I had no trouble after that. I mean, the fish would whack the hell out of it. It didn't even change the way that it worked in the water. I was worried that eliminating a hook would change a little of the weight, in the front of the hook, and it may not balance out right, but it was fine. So there's a tip for you. I'll put a picture of that up so you can see what the twitching motor looks like. But I had the picture with the hook caught in the ring in the front. It's crazy that happened. I don't know, 10 times, 12 times. I've never seen anything like that, especially from a $9 lure. I mean, come on. As the morning wore on, the bite slowed down. Well, the bait moved. The bait disappeared. But then it got really interesting. A great big old manatee rolled in, so that was pretty cool. And dolphins showed up, which at that point wasn't a problem because I really wasn't worried about the fishing at that point. And they were actually just romping. They didn't seem to be terribly interested in eating. I think they just came in to see me, and then they took off. The scenery shots, though, that I took with the phone today are just wonderful because it was definitely the calm before the storm. So that was kind of part of the deal. I went searching up even further into the top of Florida Bay, up into some really small waterways and creeks and stuff. And I finally got up to something I had seen on a chart. And I thought, I'm going to see if I can get in there. Well, when I got there, they had one of those great big signs sitting on it, off limits. I'm like, what? Yeah, that happens when you get to the very top of Florida Bay into I guess you'd call it the endangered zones, like where the crocodiles and stuff like that are. There are these beautiful creeks that lead up into more bodies of water. They are posted that you are not supposed to be in there. So I don't risk it. I don't do it. Remember, Janelle and I were fishing one day when we heard an officer back there roar up on somebody. We were like, what is going on? Because you can't see back in there. And we were in a totally different spot. We were well west of there. And he comes out with two guys they were in a bass boat, obviously not from around here, that decided they could go in there. Oops. No, you probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, it's a protected, they call it protected zones. Really what it is they're nurseries back there, both for birds and fish. And so what they're trying to do is just protect species, and that just works for all of us who like to fish. So there's no point in spoiling that. The bird life was insane today. Big flocks of white pelicans, which people down here keep saying, we don't see white pelicans. Well, you ain't going in the right place then, because I saw just enormous flocks of them. There would be 15, 20 of them in a string. They're really cool. White pelicans do not fly in flocks like brown pelicans. Brown pelicans fly like fighter jets, wing to wing, like fighter jets, I guess. And in a V, that's the word I was looking for, in a V. The white pelicans fly in enormous strings. They're a little offset from each other, but it's basically just a string of birds, and it's incredible to see because they're mostly white with black on their wings, and when they soar or turn or move, it's like a kaleidoscope. The color on their wings actually comes and goes. It's magical. It's probably the coolest thing ever in watching great big birds, and they are huge too, by the way. One of the largest birds on the planet. So really neat to see those. I saw a kingfisher. I love watching kingfishers work for food and bait along the edge of mangroves. That was kind of cool. An osprey, eagles. What else? Oh, a stork, roseate spoonbills. It was quite a day. The birds up there are amazing. And I have a feeling that's why the closed sections up there, there's probably an enormous rookery up there somewhere because you can hear birds in the distance, but you never see them. So you know that's probably what's going on. I got a feeling that's what it is. I will do my best to get out there next week and keep searching. I may, if I get a nice break in the weather, I may go out front. It's been a while since I've been on the Patch Reef, and I'm getting kind of antsy for it. I love going out there. There's nothing like looking down at 35 to 40 feet of water, seeing the bottom, and then catch fish. I mean, to me, that is just the coolest thing. Let's see, the book this past week, I've been reading a book. You all know about that by now. I'm working on Fallen Hunter. That's one I told you about last week. I'm more than halfway through it. by Wayne Stinnett is the author. This is book number 3. He has really fleshed out the character. His character is Jesse McDermott. I like the series quite a bit. It's getting better and better. It's like this guy is warming up to the character and to all the assorted other characters that make the story, and it's really, really interesting. And again, I like the fact that it's pretty much all in the Keys, so I can identify with places and things like that. So I don't know where I'm going to go next. I doubt I'll do another Jesse McDermott one in a row. I'm probably going to shift gears and try something else. But for now, I'll highly recommend this if you're looking for a Florida-based mystery novel. Let's see, the podcast title. All right, see, I've delayed this long enough now, haven't I? It's a song I heard on the radio while I was washing the boat this afternoon. Life's Been Good. And those of you know who wrote that song and who sang that song. If you're old enough, well, even now, Joe Walsh, Life's Been Good. Yeah. My Maserati does 185. Yeah. Okay. That song. It goes way back too. That's pretty cool, but it was playing on the radio. And then right after that, they played a version by the Dirty Heads, and I don't know if you've heard this one or not, but it's Life's Been Good by them. This is a reggae I don't know how to describe the Dirty Heads. They're crazy, and I like some of the music, and I don't like any of the other. It's one of those bands. Something will pop up, and I go, oh, neat, but I probably would not buy anything else from them but that one song. Well, it's hilarious. I just find it really, really funny. It is a knockoff of Joe Walsh's song. And it's about living at the beach and living on islands and being lucky and making it in life and stuff like that. They have no idea how this happened. How did they go from being bums on a beach to being singers and writing songs and performing and just all that stuff? But at the same time, staying real humble. And that's what I like about it. So if you give it a try, get a listen if you can. It's called Life's Been Good by the Dirty Heads. It's goofy. It's the best word I can put. It's goofy fun. Life has been good for me, and that was the other reason I pulled the title out and said, yeah, that'll work for today. I've had a crazy time, and it still isn't over. Hopefully it'll stay that way for a while longer. 70 years. Jesus, who thought this would happen? Wow. I can remember back when I was 30 or 40 and thinking what year it would have to be before I hit 70, doing the math based on 10 years at a time, based on your birth date. I was born in 53. So I can remember going 2023. It'll have to be like the way future. We'll probably be cruising around in space cars and, like the Jetsons, which of course we're not. We're far from it, actually. Hell, we're trying to get battery cars now. We can't even get that right. But it's really kind of funny. So here I am, 70 years later, 2023, and it's been a hell of a ride, and hopefully it'll just keep right on going. I'm working at that, and then I got to really thinking. This is what happens when you wash a boat and your brain is just like going everywhere, right? My first job was a paper boy, morning and evening papers, deliveries on a bicycle. That was a pain in the butt. But it was real money. It was like, oh man, I'm making money. This is great. Let's see. Then restaurant worker, dishwasher. Then I got into sales, sold cameras, stuff like that for a little store in Louisville, Kentucky. Then the U.S. Coast Guard. That was interesting and challenging. That was the first real thing that was like, this is cool, Then some college. That was also interesting, but for me, not attention-grabbing enough, so I made 2 years' worth. Almost 2. Yeah, I think it was 2 years. It was 4 semesters. Next came hi-fi stereo sales. That was interesting. Plus, I love music. Video surround sound theater sales. Then computer sales. Then telecom tech for a big bank. It's weird, isn't it? When I even relay this, I go, damn, how in the world? Then fishing guide. They just put the brakes on right there. You did what now? You did stereo, electronics, video, surround sound, computers, telecom, fishing guide. Yeah, well, I can't explain it. I got my captain's license, and that's just where it went. And I never looked back. That was the best thing I've ever done, was be a fishing guide. No doubt about it. I love doing that. How about that for a switch? and then came fishing instruction classes for night school, a weekly fishing radio show that ran for 11 years, a battle with cancer still ongoing, books, 3 so far with a 4th on the way, a podcast that's getting more and more listeners. Thank you all very much. Please pass the word on. It's greatly appreciated. And now singer-songwriter. Yeah, I know. I'm 70 years old and I'm a singer-songwriter. Yeah. And a lot of my friends think it's funny. We've talked. They think it's cool, but they think it's funny too. But here I am. I also have 3 wonderful daughters, 6 grandchildren, and I have the most wonderful wife a man could ever ask for. Very tolerant. No, we're basically twins. That's what we are. We're just twins. We have too much fun together, and that's how it should be. So when I heard that song, Life's Been Good, it made me smile. Both versions. It also made me wonder what's next. What other crazy thing can I do? Yep, life's been very, very good. Y'all have a wonderful week. Please spend time outside. Even if you live in one of the colder reaches of the United States, it's still better to be outside than inside. Oh, man. So if you have to, bundle up and go play. Thanks much for listening. A heartfelt thank you to the listeners who have supported my podcast over the last couple of years. If you enjoyed listening, please tell a friend, leave a review, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Facebook page is Sketch Outdoors. The website is sketchoutdoors.com, where you can find all the previous podcasts and a schedule of what's to come. Until next time, get outdoors and enjoy.